G'day guys, how's it going? I'm Aaron Whitnall, this is ACW Sport, and the Champions League last 16 knockout phase first legs have come to an end this week, and there were some cracking ties in there. And still, every English side came away with a half-decent result, which is really good, and still all have a chance of going through, which is awesome. But of course, there was only one place to start, and that was with, for me, the biggest game of the round, aside from obviously Real Madrid versus PSG, Chelsea versus Barcelona at Stamford Bridge, and a game that Messi takes all the headlines for. He finally broke his duck against Chelsea, scoring his first goal against them in 8 attempts, which is quite amazing considering it's Messi that we're talking about. And again, he just showed his sheer class with this finishing. For me, he showed his sheer class throughout the game, really. He rarely gave the ball away, and he just looks so comfortable. And it's the older he seems to get, the further he seems to drop down the pitch instead of staying up front. And he just seems to dictate play. And I can see him being almost like the person that takes over from Iniesta, as obviously Iniesta retires in a season or two. And Messi dropping back a little bit further, allowing the likes of Dembele and Coutinho to move further forward up the pitch. But anyway, enough of Messi. He was unbelievable as we would expect. He did get Barca the key away goal that they will take back to the Nou Camp, which does make things very hard for Chelsea because it does seem impossible to beat Barcelona this season. The only team who have done it were Real Madrid, and that was in the Spanish version of the Community Shield. Since then, they have gone unbeaten the whole season, and you know the Nou Camp is they are just so prolific there. However, if any team is going to beat Barcelona or come away from the Nou Camp getting a result to go through to the next round, it's Chelsea. We've seen them do it before when they've had all the odds against them when Chelsea won the Champions League, so there is no reason why they can't do it this time, and they will feel so unlucky at the fact they are not going to the Nou Camp with a lead, because Willian absolutely stole the show in this game. For me, he has always been one of my absolute favourite Chelsea players. I haven't understood why he doesn't start more for them, and him and Hazard, for me, should be their first choice wingers. But he seems to be in a bit rotation with them, with him, Pedro, others, for example, at the club. And it just baffles me because for me, he almost reminds me, if Sir Alex Ferguson, for example, was still managing, he would be the kind of player that Sir Alex would want. He reminds me of almost like a Park Ji-sung, but I think he's even better than Park because in the big games, he comes to life. He is a workhorse and he produces time and time again. So, yeah, that's just how I see him. Another player I could put in that category is Son for Tottenham, for example. But, yeah, he was so unlucky to not have a hat-trick in this game. He did get Chelsea's goal that gave them the lead. Very good finish in the second half. But in the first half, it was all about Chelsea, and Willian hit the post twice. And that is why, both posts, and that is why he will feel so unlucky that he didn't get a hat-trick, and why Chelsea will feel so unlucky that they aren't going to the Nou Camp with a lead. But it's still finally poised for the second leg, which is great for Chelsea. So I can't wait to see what the second leg brings. As for the final English team that played on Wednesday night, Manchester United, they had what will, I imagine, yeah, to be honest, it was a disappointing night, let's put it straight. If it wasn't for David De Gea, they probably wouldn't really stand a chance in the second leg. But it is back at Old Trafford, their fortress. They've only lost once there this year. That, of course, was to Manchester City. Aside from that, they've been prolific at home. And they did squander a big chance through Romelu Lukaku in the first half. Alexis Sanchez with a lovely cross for him. But for me, I don't know why Lukaku, he went for the first time volley, which was the right thing to do. But why would you ever side foot that? Just put your foot through it, Van Persie style. But, he squandered a massive chance. And that is why people are criticising him this season. For me, he's done all right, but he hasn't quite lived up to expectations. Maybe he will in his second season. But one thing that was clear from this game, aside from the fact that David De Gea is the absolute best goalkeeper in the world, and maybe, just maybe, one of the best goalkeepers we've ever seen in football, United have got serious issues at the back, and Jose does not trust his defenders. However, saying that, even though he doesn't trust them, the best way to defend would be attack. He has got such prolific attackers on his bench and in his team. He should be going for it, and United should have scored in this game, but they didn't, and that is what everyone is remembering. It's for me, I can't quite put my finger on whether or not Jose is going to be there long term. I can't see where he thinks his team are going to be in a couple of years' time. There's talk of more overhauls. Personally, I don't see the need for it. He has got Scott McTominay, who I really want to talk about. Forget Pogba. Pogba was fine when he came on. I know there's a lot of controversy around him and Jose at the moment, but I want to focus on this young British talent that has broken into the Manchester United first team. because he looked so comfortable in the game. He was awesome. And I really think that is where Jose has got the chance to build his team. Yes, play 4-3-3. McTominay is your answer. If Herrera is injured or not playing well, that is who should take over from Michael Carrick, Scott McTominay. Play him alongside Matic. Have those two hold and let Pogba go to work, or Lingard go to work, or Sanchez go to work, or Mata go to work. Whoever else you want to play in that three, just let them go and attack and let the others control the game from behind, because that is what McTominay was doing in the middle of the park for United. I was so impressed with him. And he's got other players out on loan, like Fonsu Mensah at Palace. Great youngster. Maybe try him at the back with Bailly. Or, you've got Pereira at Valencia. Young, Brazilian, superstar talent there, potentially. Tap into these. They're all there for United. Rashford, I want to see him given a chance up top over Lukaku. It might give Lukaku the kick up the arse he needs, and it might get Rashford's confidence back up. Let him go for it. Same with Martial. So much potential there, but it is not being utilised. So look, we're going to have to see how the second leg goes, but Sevilla will be gutted that they aren't taking some kind of lead to Old Trafford. However, anyone who thinks this tie is over is a fool, because even though United have been, they've made Old Trafford a fortress, Sevilla are so dangerous, and we saw that against Liverpool in the group stage. But that is finally poised. And then the other two ties, we saw Bayern Munich destroy Besiktas. I really thought the Besiktas fairy tale in the Champions League was going to continue. Bayern brought that to a complete end. They have now won 20 games in a row, and don't you dare write them off with a chance of winning this competition, regardless of who they're up against. Right now, I would love to see them get Manchester City in the next round. That is a mouth-watering tie because of how good Bayern are again, and of course how good City are right now. And then also in the other tie, we saw Shakhtar Donetsk pick up a 2-1 win over Roma, coming from 1-0 down. However, Roma have got that really key away goal. And, going to the Stadio Olimpico and holding on to that 1-0 is going to be so, so hard, because it is a fortress. And we saw Roma destroy Chelsea there earlier this season as well. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. But at the moment, I still think Roma will go through. It's pretty formidable. Bayern are going to go through. I think United will go through, but I think it'll be a tight game at Old Trafford. I only reckon it'll be like 1-0 or 2-1. And then as for Chelsea and Barca, I honestly cannot call it, because even though Barca are favourites and it seems like the logical team to say would go through, just Chelsea, when they play Barca, there's something about them and you're just never sure. So, I'm just going to have to wait and see how that plays out. I can't predict it, but right now anyway, come back to me in a couple of weeks when the tie's coming up, and I'll let you know. I'm going to see how Chelsea do in these coming games against City and United first. So, that is pretty much everything I made of the Champions League this week. Please comment below. Let me know, what did you think of the Champions League? What were your main talking points from the games? Really interested to hear your thoughts. And, of course, I'll be back again very shortly with my Premier League predictions for this coming week. Only 10 weeks of the Premier League left. As always, I'm Aaron Whitnall. This is ACW Sport. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon.